Troops Heat and Air is owned and operated by veterans. We're here to help you by being honest and giving you the same respect that you give us. So when you're at war with your heat and air system, call in the troops. Thank you to all who have served, and God bless America.
5 times. Taft was taken to a hospital but did not survive the gunshot injuries. Her family told investigators she suffered from depression.
219, shots fired, shots fired.
Midwest City Police turned their investigation over to the Oklahoma County District Attorney's Office for review. In a response to Midwest City's police chief, DA David Prater says, "I find that your officers were legally justified to exercise deadly force to defend themselves and each other. The officers were cleared to return to duty last week." The officers were not injured. The DA says Taft's gun was loaded and cocked, but the safety was on. In Midwest City, Jennifer Pierce, Oklahoma's own News 9.
Jen, thanks. Cassie joins me now in the Bob Mills Weather Center. And Cassie, boy, we're talking the high today. What, 30 degrees cooler than yesterday?
Yeah, it's a little bit cooler.
Yikes!
I know.
Wasn't it shocking to your system?
Well, it wasn't shocking necessarily because I knew it was coming.
You knew it was coming.
Sure.
I mean, like when you walk out and physically feel it.
I know. It's not fun by any means. It is terribly cold outside right now, especially with the wind. And just looking at radar, it's starting to look a little bit more like winter as well. We actually have some snow trying to show up at least. Now, we've got some moisture, okay, in the upper levels of the atmosphere. So all of this that you're saying, not all of it is actually hitting the ground. Wouldn't be surprised, though, if we do have some, maybe a few raindrops, maybe even a few flurries just to the north and west, okay, and some light rain well to the south and east. But this is going to continue on and off for really the next several hours as it continues to move off to the south and east. So flurries a possibility this evening, even here in Oklahoma City. But everyone's cold, and it's going to get even colder. We've got the freeze warning for all of western, central, southern Oklahoma. Temperatures eventually dropping down into the 20s tonight. In the meantime, this is our tower camera, part of our Pike Pass SkyCam network, overcast and cold, 38 degrees with a wind gust right now at 34. It feels like 26 degrees outside. Temperatures in the upper 30s to low 40s across the north, lots of low 40s across the Red River. Well, you know, over the next couple of days, it's still going to stay cold. Temperatures moderate a little bit, but we are tracking a winter storm for early next week. We're going to talk about the timing and how much we could potentially see coming up in just a little bit. Colby?
Cassie, thanks. Oklahoma City Police need our help finding this car. Take a look. They say it was involved in a hit and run near Northwest 1st and Penn around 9 last Wednesday night. Police say it's a white or silver 4-door vehicle and should have front end damage on the driver's side. If you have any information or if you see that car, take another look here. You can call Crime Stoppers. The OSBI is investigating after an attorney allegedly finds a hidden camera at the Carter County Detention Center. The attorney says it was in a screw hole in a light fixture in an attorney-client room. Officials say the device has been removed and turned over to OSBI.
County election boards in all 77 counties are meeting now to certify Tuesday's election results. They are certifying county-level elections. Next Tuesday, the state election board will meet to certify federal and state races. In other states, ballot counting continues, but CBS News projects the U.S. House of Representatives is leaning toward Republican control, while control of the Senate is still a toss-up. Natalie Brand with the latest.
The campaigning hasn't stopped in Georgia, where incumbent Senator Raphael Warnock and Republican challenger Herschel Walker are now sprinting to a December 6th runoff.
They said we're in overtime. We're in overtime.
I did warn y'all that we might be spending Thanksgiving together.
It's a seat that could determine which party controls the U.S. Senate, depending on what happens with the 2 other outstanding Senate races. In Nevada, the race between incumbent Catherine Cortez Masto and Republican challenger Adam Laxalt has tightened as more votes get counted. Under Nevada law, counties can receive ballots postmarked by Election Day through Saturday.
Right now, based on what we saw in the vault this morning, we've got a little over 50,000 ballots that still need to be counted.
In Arizona, elections officials in Maricopa County are still working through a record number of early ballots dropped off on Election Day. The race between incumbent Senator Mark Kelly and Republican Blake Masters is still leaning Democratic. The U.S. House is leaning Republican.
Both chambers are poised to once again have very slim majorities. House GOP leader Kevin McCarthy has already begun a campaign for Speaker.
So we'll see how much Kevin McCarthy, how much arm twisting or how many favors he has to do to get over the top to get his speakership.
The midterm elections have highlighted divisions within the Republican Party.
Many of Donald Trump's candidates lost, and a lot of people in the Republican Party are probably going to say, maybe he shouldn't be the head of our party if he's choosing candidates like this.
But the former president, hinting at 2024, has already sent out a formal notice for a big announcement next Tuesday. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
On Veterans Day, Americans paused to honor those who served in the U.S. military. There were services across the nation. Vice President Kamala Harris laid a wreath at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier at Arlington National Cemetery. Today also marked the 40th anniversary of the dedication of the National Vietnam Veterans Memorial Wall. And here in Oklahoma, people lined the streets in Midwest City and in Tulsa to show our gratitude for our nation's heroes. Braving the cold, they waved American flags proudly to honor those who served and are still serving our country.
And it's to make sure that we never forget what they have gone through and the things that they've done for our country. I appreciate the support. We all do. It means a lot to us. And if you ever see any veterans on the street, just make sure you always say thank you.
Those heroes served in some of the most dangerous conflicts in history, from World War II to modern wars. News 9's Chris Yu has their stories.
It was the deadliest international conflict in history, with tens of millions of lives lost, and braving the battlefields, more than 16 million Americans. But those heroes are leaving us quickly. Just 2 years ago, there were 300,000 surviving World War II vets, according to the VA. Today, there are only 167,000. Standing the test of time is Burl Gamble, a bomber pilot during World War II and the Korean War.
B-17, B-29, B-36, and B-52.
The 101-year-old does not look his age thanks to his fitness routine at Valor Physical Therapy in Chickasha. He works out 2 to 3 times a week.
A lot of people ask me what my secret is, and I tell them I think it's good genes, good exercise, and a hell of a lot of luck.
Another major conflict, the Vietnam War, saw nearly 60,000 U.S. service members killed. Skip Cooley was one of the survivors and received the Bronze Star for his service.
When you go in at 17, you don't think about that stuff. You just got a job to do. Especially in combat, you just want to stay alive.
Cooley's 2 older brothers both served during the Vietnam War, but they were injured. That inspired Cooley to follow his brother's footsteps.
My heroes, my brothers, have been wounded in combat, so I couldn't wait for my turn.
Cooley's son Shane is also following his dad's footsteps. He is a major in the Marine Corps. In Oklahoma City, Chris Yu, Oklahoma's own News 9.
Great story there. In 1 week, the Myriad Gardens will officially reopen the Crystal Bridge Conservatory. This is a time-lapse of the major construction project that took about 1.5 years. Crews added a reflecting pool, overlooked terraces, a new waterfall feature, and new plant collections. There will be a ribbon cutting Thursday, open to visitors Friday, starting at 9 a.m. Scissortail Park is creating a custom holiday tree, and they need our help. They're asking for spare hubcaps to help create the Park of a Hubcap holiday tree. Park officials say 100 to 150 new or used hubcaps are needed. Maybe you have some lying around. If so, you can drop them off near the Scissortail Park Ranger Stations 7 to 11 through Tuesday.
Do you have any hubcaps laying around, Bobby?
I do not, no.
Too bad.
The Oklahoma City Thunder are back on the court tonight against the Toronto Raptors.
They're trying to snap a 4-game losing streak after falling in double overtime against the Bucks Wednesday night. Toronto beat the Rockets Wednesday before making the trip to OKC. Tip-off inside the Paycom Center, set for 7 o'clock. And on the gridiron, both Oklahoma and Oklahoma State are trying to bounce back from losses last week. Sooners will travel to Morgantown to play the West Virginia Mountaineers.
Tip-off is tomorrow at 1. The Cowboys are at home hosting the Iowa State Cyclones. That game starts at 2:30.
And we could see some flurries this evening, but a winter storm is in the forecast. So we're going to talk about the timing of that and how much snow we could potentially see this round, coming up from the Bob Mills Weather Center.
But first, officially open for business, what the mayor said at the grand opening of our brand new station downtown. It's right after the break.
And it's to make sure that we never forget what they have gone through and the things that they've done for our country. I appreciate the support. We all do. It means a lot to us. And if you ever see any veterans on the street,
This is Oklahoma's own News 9.
It's official. Our news station in downtown OKC is open.
Mayor David Holt joined Amanda, Carl, and our News 9 owner, David Griffin, in cutting the ribbon this morning.
3, 2, 1.
Showers of confetti.
We're just ecstatic to be here.
Marking a new season for Griffin Media.
It's a heavy, heavy lift.
For owner David Griffin, who had the vision for it.
I think arguably the most important corner of all of Oklahoma City.
To Mayor David Holt, who advocated for it.
I mean, this died in 20 different times, and was resuscitated.
Resuscitated by all those not ready to let it go.
I just think it's a great tie, and it just raises the energy of downtown, which has come a long way.
Energy that flows both ways.
Just being down here and feeling what has really transpired over my career here is pretty amazing, and it's just going to be exciting for us to tell the downtown story to all of our viewers.
And access to those who tell the story.
Even if you're not literally taping on the sidewalk, I mean, people will know what happens in here.
Years of collaboration.
There's a lot of work, and great things take a lot of time.
I think Sunday's going to be a very exciting day.
Accumulating and a shower of confetti. And a new season for downtown and Griffin Media. Starting tonight at 10 and all next week, we have a series of special stories celebrating our old home for nearly 70 years and introducing you to our brand new studio.
And be sure to tune in Sunday night for the first broadcast from our new building. That's Sunday at 5:30.
Yeah, we're down there today. I mean, it's just so exciting. We can't wait to be there, right? It's full of energy and just being downtown. There's always people around and restaurants to go to. It's fantastic.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem.
Yeah,
so much for us to do down there. That's for sure, meeting our new neighbors.
And we already had so many people coming into the building. We've gotten to meet people in the community, and it really has opened us up to getting to meet people and to news stories and everything that's down there. It's been fantastic.
You're right, but notice that ribbon cutting was held indoors, Cassie.
Absolutely. Yeah. It was so cold. I mean, it's still cold.
Frigid.
And it's going to get even colder. Yeah, it seems like we went from fall to now into winter. On Action Live, you can see the difference compared to where we were, you know, like last week when it was all rain and storms. Well, this time around, now we've got on our precipitation layer. So we are looking at a little bit of everything. Rain, snow, and we've even had a report down in Ada of some sleet. So it is cold, not only at the surface, but aloft as well. Not everything that you're seeing is hitting the ground, but we could see some flurries even here in Oklahoma City. Also had some reports of some very light snow and flurries around Ponca City. So it is cold. It's going to get even colder. We've got a freeze warning for all of western, central, southern Oklahoma for overnight tonight. Temperatures will be dropping down into the 20s. In the meantime, this is our Guthrie camera up on our Pike Pass Skycam network. We're at 38 degrees. We've got a north wind sustained at 26. Wind gusts at 34 makes it feel more like 26 degrees. Temperatures in the upper 30s to around 40 to the north. Lots of low 40s across the Red River. Again, combine that with a north wind anywhere between about 20 to as much as around 35 miles an hour. Well, it's going to feel more like the 20s for many of us. Still feels like the upper 30s and even some low 40s in far eastern Oklahoma. But no matter where you go in Oklahoma, it is cold. It's going to stay pretty cold even throughout the weekend. This trough is going to slowly move off to the east, and they're going to be tracking our next storm that will be moving in here in just a few days. So tomorrow, temperatures in the 40s. It's certainly going to start in the 20s, so it's going to be cold, but by Sunday, we're going to kind of moderate a little bit, get into the low 50s, but here comes that next winter storm. And right now, it's still on track to arrive as early as Monday morning in western Oklahoma, and then during the day, making its way across the state from west to east. And it's going to be cold enough that we're not only going to get some rain, but we're going to see a rain and snow mix. Parts of the state, especially on the northern and western sides of the state, could see just plain snow throughout the entire event. Behind it, it's still going to be very cold. Temperatures in the 30s and 40s for daytime highs. And then we've got another wave that's going to try to move in by the end of next week. This one doesn't look nearly as ominous. It does look like we could get a few flurries out of that, but one thing's for sure, it is bringing in much colder air with highs struggling to get out of the 20s for daytime highs. And then after that, eventually, it does look like temperatures won't be so low. But for this evening, there is a chance that we're going to get some flurries even here in Oklahoma City. I think the farther south and east you go, you're going to run into slightly warmer air. So we're talking about just plain light rain. We're dropping down to about 24 degrees in Oklahoma City tomorrow morning. The low 20s across the northwest, the upper teens in Guymon, 23 in Clinton, the upper 20s and low 30s across the east and southeast. Tomorrow afternoon, eventually, that wind will be shifting to the south and east, so temperatures warming into the upper 40s in Oklahoma City, the low 50s across the west, and the low to mid 40s across the east. Sunday afternoon, it's going to be a south wind. In fact, it's going to be kind of blustery in western Oklahoma, but temperatures still manage to make it into the low to mid 50s. I think during the day, we will start to see increasing clouds ahead of that storm that will be moving in on Monday. But by Monday morning, I think it's going to move in from the west, and it's still going to be fairly warm enough, again, above freezing at least, that we're going to start out with plain rain, eventually transitioning to a rain and snow mix. The further south you go, just cold rain. The farther north and west you go, just plain snow. And then during the day, temperatures in the mid 30s, some low 30s across north, upper 30s across the south and southeast. But eventually, everyone's going to get a little bit of something. But right now, it looks like most of the state would see a rain and snow mix. The farther north and west you go, still looking at plain snow. But how much are we looking at? Well, these numbers will change until then. We're going to fine-tune it every day until we get closer to the actual event. But right now, it looks like most of us would see about a dusting. The farther north and west you go, that's where the chance is a little bit higher to see more accumulating amounts. We're talking anywhere from 2 to 4 inches at best. But here's the thing, it's been so warm around here lately. Ground temperatures are still very warm, so it's going to be really hard to accumulate. Even if we were to get a couple inches in Oklahoma City, it's not going to last more than probably a couple minutes. So for the rest of this evening, temperatures do come down with a slight chance of flurries. It's going to be cold. It's going to be a little breezy. This weekend, though, dry, still chilly with that winter storm moving in on Monday. Guys, back to you.
Enjoy those couple of minutes, Cassie. Thank you. Don't forget, our team of weather experts and storm trackers will be out tomorrow helping everyone get prepared for the winter season. They'll be at Bob Mills Furniture from 10 to noon. The first 100 people to get there will get a winter weather kit, so be sure to stop by.
Coming up, a king back on our TV screens when you can watch Sylvester Stallone's new series, Tulsa King, after the break.
What is that place?
It's a dispensary.
A mother killed in a hit and run earlier this month.
And we just would like some closure.
Her family's search for answers at 6.
Months of hard work all across Oklahoma will be on full display this weekend.
Sylvester Stallone's new series, Tulsa King, will make its debut Sunday. The series was the largest of its kind to be produced right here in Oklahoma, with filming in OKC, Tulsa, and Bethany.
The first 2 episodes will be released on Paramount Plus Sunday morning at 2. That's 2 a.m. The other episodes will be released weekly.
You have no friends in this building, John. You're gonna have to bring your own.
Excited about this too. Also being released on Paramount Plus this weekend, the new season of Yellowstone.
Kevin Costner's patriarch, John Dutton, is now governor of Montana, leaving his son-in-law, Rip, played by Cole Hauser, to run the Yellowstone Ranch. The special 2-hour premiere of season 5 airs Sunday.
Can't wait.
Something to check out after you check out football on Saturday. So we got to make a correction. Kickoff for the OU game against the Mountaineers is at 11.
Yes, I know we said tip off at 1. That's not the
Sorry about that.
That's not your fault, Bobby. But you at home, you knew it.
We got it.
But just so Bobby doesn't get any angry letters, we knew it too. It's just a slight typo.
Might get some angry letters about just how cold it is if you're not a fan.
Yeah, send them to David.
Yeah,
not
that's
me.
right. Don't address those to Cass.
Oh no, my graphics.
Well, do you know off the top of your head?
It froze up, yes. Huh?
If you know off the top of your head, is it colder in West Virginia than it will be in Stillwater?
To win.
Oh, Saturday. Probably, right?
Yeah.
It's gotta be.
Yeah.
Mountains.
They're already snowboarding up in snowshoe.
It's gonna be cold here. We got snow coming on Monday.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Okay, buckle up everybody, back at 6.
And bundle up.